Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian. I'm joined by Dylan and Ethan this week.
It's us.
Now that's a knife.
Now that's a knife.
We have knives.
Yeah, crocodiles.
Big ones.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
This week we watched Crocodile Dundee.
I didn't realize that this was the movie. No, that's not a knife. He takes it out. That's a knife. I didn't realize that this is the movie that came from.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to have seen that in context.
And it is. It's it's dated for sure. But
The
boy,
whole movie's good.
this movie would not fly nowadays.
Oh, definitely not. It would not fly at all.
Like,
all the best movies and all the movies we're watching would not fly nowadays.
That's because everything sucks now.
Yeah, everything's too PC. It's stupid.
I mean, it's not that. It's not necessarily that, but as it pertains to this movie in particular, it definitely wouldn't.
This movie came
turn
out
over
in
too well.
1986.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, that's great.
you can't make dirty jokes and stuff anymore because people get too offended by it. So now it's great.
Would you,
This movie's great.
would you consider Dundee a caricature,
What do you mean?
like
I mean,
a stereotypical like version of a certain type of people?
I mean, almost, but I feel like they really tried their hardest to just make him like a Giga Chad.
Oh yeah, he's,
You know?
he's the coolest motherfucker I know.
But as
Can I
far as
just-
like the personification of what like Giga Chad like it's supposed to be, where it's like these like super cool guy, he's also kind of a gentleman. So like he still doesn't
yeah.
fit that. He is.
Right.
He's just kind of like
He's a very honorable man.
he's kind of just like a Mary Sue character as a guy. That like, yeah, sure, he still has this thing. He's not like a perfect character,
Yeah.
but the thing that makes him such a fun character in this movie is the fact that he doesn't have any real flaws. He's just a great character.
Right.
Can I just come out and say this right at the top? I hated this movie.
Dude,
really?
explain.
Oh, man. I didn't. I mean, it was an all right movie. I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
There was like, it was just one of those things where like,
I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, but I can also tell you it is by no means gonna make it on my list of
Right.
best movies this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
if its arch nemesis is horse sense, and it has no chance.
Oh, no. I lost out immediately.
All right.
dude, the only thing I'm gonna say is like,
It was good, but
if I'm to tell myself a little bit, I enjoyed the first portion of this movie when
Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee is like in his
Natural
habitat.
his element. I liked the idea of this lady kind of going outside of her element, but the thing I didn't like was like the
They
trope.
pulled the switcheroo on you.
Well, no, I knew that was coming, I think,
yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the thing that I didn't care for was like we're in this point in the 80s where it was cool to like live and be successful in New York.
Mhm.
And it was like every movie has that trope, I feel like, of like, I live in New York and I make a lot of money and it's cool to be in New York. And it's like, no, it's not. It sucks to be there. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, it,
right.
it probably doesn't, but at least nowadays it sucks to be there from what I've heard.
Right.
So it's like probably in the 80s it was a better time. And again, everyone's like, they glorify New York. But I'm like, I would never want to live
It's
in
the
New York.
city of dreams.
I mean, I was like, that's great for some people, but not me.
It's
I
the
don't
city of
believe
people-
it.
That's
I
the
would-
city of people pooping on the sidewalk.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the 80s where
Like-
everyone smokes everywhere and just shits on the street probably.
Yeah.
A
But-
cesspool.
But for me, it's like
Literally.
I didn't like the fact that we have this really cool character that gets taken out of his element, and then of course for like
Subjected to
for
torment.
probably like a good third of the movie, it's like people being like, "Oh, look at this guy who's like a wild man in the
Real
city." And it's like,
savage.
what an idiot! I was
That's
like,
why I
you guys
liked-
are the idiot for living in New York and living this way. It's like this
Yeah.
guy's pretty legit, like you know,
Mhm.
being on his own.
That's why I think at first I was like, is this movie seriously gonna like actually rag on
Oh, yeah,
him
yeah.
for like? Because the thing is like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be like offensive when I say this, but like you put a city girl who works in New York in the backwoods bush of Australia,
Yes.
she would die. That's not even sexist. You put a city boy there. Hell,
Yes.
I am from the South. You put me
Yeah.
in the backwoods bush of Australia, and I might last a day, but probably no more. I
Right.
cannot find water. So like that makes sense. But I was like, if you put a backwoods bush guy in New York, we're not saying that he's gonna die. Like everyone's acting like I was like, no, he's pretty resourcul. He
Yeah.
figures some stuff out.
oh yeah,
So
especially
At
with
first-
them punches, you can't go wrong with those punches.
exactly, he had to keep
Throws
dishing
fucking
them out.
hammers.
Yeah, with his golden left hook and his boomerangs.
Golden left hook.
So, I mean, like, at first, I was not sure I was going to like the rest of the movie, because I was like, they're just going to rag on this dude for being out of his habitat. And then he actually does really well. Everybody in the city likes him because he's weird and unique. Everybody who tries stopping him, he just beats their ass.
Yes.
He gets drunk at bars and everyone loves him. Like,
I will say that is what I did like about the movie, was that they kind of set them up for they set Mick up for this, like, you're out of your element, you're not that.
It's like everyone tried to set him up for failure, and then they still didn't finish.
It didn't fucking work.
Which I was like, I kind of...
For a man who could drink him under the table, you can't. He can make it in New York, right?
Of course, yes.
So...
But all in all, I was over-exaggerating. I don't hate the movie. I just don't think I cared for it.
It's not my list.
I overhyped it. Right. I will say the ending. I hated the ending. I did not like that.
The ending was too classic of a blurry, happy ending thing.
The freeze frame.
As the
candid freeze frame.
Right. As the resident professional on hatred of endings, let me do my little spiel here.
Hold on, while I crack my knuckles.
Right. Yeah. 1 second. I'm trying, but it's not. I got one pop. I don't know if you heard it.
Got it.
So go on ahead now. Turn that one up in post. So,
add just knuckle cracking sounds.
We'll have a little pause here. Okay, good. So, so basically, the movie ends with this girl, kind of comically though, for what's worse, because they're passing the message on between like two people across the thing that he could definitely hear her shouting on.
Of course.
But it's her saying, "I'm not going to marry homeboy because he's a dick, so I want to be with you."
Richard,
and then he just climbs over the crowd, stepping on people's faces, and then gets to her, and then they hug, and it ends in like the blurry freeze frame of them being
the classic '80s like candid freeze frame shot.
Yeah. And so.
But I felt like
didn't like the ending,
closure.
not necessarily because it's like it's like a classic happy ending, and also has the candid freeze frame hatred that I have there. There's a little bit of that.
Yes,
lots of. It's like I'm grading this on Cinema Sins, and I'm going to add like 12 sins for this ending alone.
Oh my god!
Because it's like it's the stupid freeze frame. It's the no closure. I'm going to add like 4 sins for the whole no closure thing, because it's like, oh cool, they live happily ever after, but it's like, do they go back to Australia?
Yeah.
Do they stay here? Is everybody cool? Is everybody still a dick?
Next time on Crocodile
Dundee 2.
Right?
Electric Boogaloo.
Right.
Dundee Boogaloo. So like
Crocodile strikes again.
It doesn't really give you anything, and it's also just kind of like one of those crappy endings where it's like, oh, it doesn't end on like a nice note. It just ends on them like
freeze frame.
They're together now. It doesn't end on them like, let's go and do something. It doesn't add anything to the end of it. It's just like, it just kind of cuts off and just blurs and then credits roll. It was just pretty... I liked the movie. I did enjoy the movie. The ending is not my least favorite, but it's not good. It's pretty bad.
What about you, Dylan? What are your thoughts?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
I did like that you were like, I didn't realize there was this whole girl cheating on her husband.
This
Oh
bitch
my God.
could not make up her mind.
No, dude.
Just playing both sides
You
like
talk
it was
about
no big deal.
You talk about a simp. She was going on both sides.
Right.
Jesus.
I just like that Dundee never did anything until, well, probably after
Dundee
the
didn't
we don't
do
know
nothing.
we don't know if they blinked or not, because the movie didn't tell us.
He was a classic man. He's a good guy.
So, yeah.
I don't know, dude.
I thought there was a lot of really funny scenes. I thought it was really good. One of my favorite scenes is whenever they're getting off the boat, and he like grabs, what is it, Wally? What's that guy's name? Was that his name? The older guy on the
Wally.
Or Willie. Well, Willie, something like that. So he grabs his hand, looks at his watch real quick, and Willie looks at him like, "What the hell?" And then he walks over to her and is like looking around, and then looks up at the sun and says, "It's 2:20. Better get moving." And she looks at her watch and says, "2:20.
2:20. Oh my God.
How did he do that?" And Willie's like, "Yeah, it's an old bush trick. He's covering up his watch." I was like, "This is priceless." They were trying to do it. And then he's like, whenever I asked the leader of my tribe when I was born, he said the summertime.
Right.
I was like, this dude's just making things up to impress this lady.
She asks him like, "Oh, how old are you?" And he just says, "I don't know."
I don't know. Next time someone asks that, I'm going to answer with that.
Yeah.
Where I was born, we didn't have calendars. And
Right. We don't really keep track of time.
Yeah, exactly.
I was born an Aboriginal person of Australia, so when I was born, I had a
born
calendar.
in the bush.
I asked the leader of my tribe when I was born, and he said winter. So
That's what it is. Sweet summer child.
Yeah. Obviously didn't like the main female protagonist of this movie at all, because she was just a cheating whore. I said what I said.
Garbo.
This movie,
her redemption arc is just the end of the movie, her changing her mind.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Just on a whim, seemingly.
Her redemption arc. I haven't seen, like, if you look into it, it doesn't seem to be on a whim. But at the same time, you're right. It does look like it's kind of on a whim. Right. And I was like, her redemption arc is just her changing her mind to the better choice, obviously, because the other guy's just a freaking douche canoe. But like,
but the thing that gets me is like she never even denied. It'd be one thing if she was like questioning it or like didn't even say yes or no at the
she
dinner.
showed no,
but she straight up didn't say yes or no to like him handing, like literally putting the wedding ring.
She was
going to
steal the ring and then run away. Yeah,
exactly. And it's like
she showed no inclination.
The ring he gave me.
Yeah, she showed no inclination of not being interested in that guy and didn't tell him that either. She just kept leading him on until she decided not to. Away. So I was just like, that's weird.
Two-timing hoe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't like the female protagonist. She was just stupid.
This movie is basically a wild man from Australia trying to chase down a woman.
No. Making his final beast to tame is just a woman from New York. Of all the beasts he's tamed, he was trying to tame a woman from New York.
He was just trying to cheat on him.
Yeah, I mean, but then she changed her mind, and now she wants to get married. Or something like that, because the movie doesn't tell us at the end. It just
The Australian mind magic.
Yeah.
That
was impressive, too.
Speaking of that.
Dude.
Dundee using his stand to freaking stop him.
Use a freaking Jedi mind trick on this bull, make him go to sleep.
That was really cool.
Make these dogs stop barking.
What would his stand be named?
I'm trying to think. I know it.
Man Down Under.
Yeah. Is that the name of the song, or is that just...
I cast the reins down in Africa.
Africa? No. Africa.
Oh, man. Let's see. What's a good Australian?
Down Under. What is that song?
So who is everybody's favorite character? There's not that many characters.
The band is Men at Work. I just can't remember the name of the song.
Who is everyone's favorite character? I mean, I feel like
I'm a big fan of Gus.
Yeah, it's Men at Work, Land Down Under.
Gus? Which one's Gus?
The limo driver.
Gus takes it for me a little bit, but I'll be honest, my favorite one would have to which I thought you would say this, Dylan. You're probably gonna change your mind after I say this, but it'd have to probably be Donk.
Donk. Oh,
Donk.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Donk. Nah, I'm gonna stick with Gus.
Okay, yeah, because I'm gonna be.
Donk was funny, but he didn't get nearly as much screen time.
That's why he's my favorite, because you know every aspect of his character with what, maybe 3 scenes of scene time.
Get stuffed.
I was gonna say, yeah. So Donk is just a very big Australian man, and the entire town, which is a small town, but whatever, has a challenge that if you can punch him in the stomach and make him shake enough that he spills his beer, I guess what, you get to win the beer? I don't know.
Beats me.
I think he pays for your
probably everybody's drinks. It's never happened, they said.
Yeah.
So they see him, someone punches him and he doesn't shake, and they're like, and everyone's like, oh, okay, good shot. And then eventually our main man Dundee is like, today's my lucky day, Donk. And Donk says, you're gonna have a go with the guts, is what exactly he says.
Have a go with the guts.
And then he kisses him, and then the bar fight happens. It's great.
So I figured out who you're talking about, the guy Gus. His real name, and I can never quite remember his name, but it's such a great name. His name is Reginald Vell Johnson.
Yo, what?
Yeah.
That's the guy who played the cop in...
Yeah, he's the black guy that plays the limo driver. He also plays the cop in Die Hard.
That's awesome.
Every character he plays, I'm like, man, you're just such a nice...
He's a wholesome guy. He's a wholesome character.
He played in Family Matters, obviously, as a dad.
Yeah.
So
he Donk will probably be it.
What about you, Ian?
Let me see. I'm a big fan of, I think his name was Willie.
Willie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I like Willie.
Business partner.
Yeah.
Yep. He was just taking care of him. He was just a good guy.
Walter Riley is, I guess, the character name.
Yeah.
But
so it was Wally then. That's what they were calling him.
Wally. I just liked him. He just seemed like a really good guy. He seems like a really nice friend. He's trying to keep.
Yeah.
He's trying to keep Mick in line.
Yep.
But what a name though. You can't go wrong with Donk.
Yeah, no. Donk. Also, the scene that Dylan was talking about with Donk is whenever he's Wally's on the phone with Dundee, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Donk wants to say something." So then Donk grabs the phone and says, "Hey, Mick, get stuffed," and then just gives the phone back. And I just want a friend like that. Yeah. I want a Donk in my life. Another thing that I liked was whenever Dundee makes it to New York and is like, "What tribe are you from?"
Oh, yeah.
And then, what was his character's name we just talked about? Gus. Gus is like, "Excuse me," and he's like, "Well, you're a man. You're a black man. I figured you're from a tribe."
Oh my God! Yeah.
And he just looks at him like,
What the hell are you talking about?
And he was like, well, I'll tell you what, doesn't matter what tribe you're from, you got to ride like this, you're doing better than my tribe is. And the guy's like, okay, so he's not trying to be a dick.
I mean,
he's
not racist.
He has
I
a
guess?
confused look. He's like, so
Just
he's
a
not
fish
being
out of water. Okay?
he's not being racist. He's just an odd fellow. And then later
he
on,
doesn't know what's what.
yeah, exactly. So then later on, they see each other again after the whole boomerang scene. That was great. First off,
okay, we gotta
before I
explain
continue
that.
with the boomerang scene, let me just say that I like how after Gus, Dundee's getting mugged, Gus hits someone with his car, whatever, just New York things. Gus breaks off the back spoiler of his car and then throws it like a boomerang, and it knocks a guy out.
Straight
and then,
up murders
and then
a
it
man.
pans over, and they're looking at each other, and then it pans back over the guy, and he's just a
You
corpse.
just see him on the ground,
He's an unconscious man.
dead
He
as
is-
a doornail.
That man is supine on the ground, dead, with a boomerang next to him.
Gus immediately
they-
establishes himself as the real hero. Of
Right,
this movie.
Because again, we have to also preface this movie is in '86, so we're talking about like an old Buick limo that had that fishtail boomerang looking spoiler on the back
Yeah.
that did nothing except for just look nice.
Look
Right.
good, yeah.
And
Or
of course,
weird.
whenever he snapped
Just
it off and
snapped it
I was
right
like,
off.
I like that they made it arch like a boomerang too. It was a good throw that made it realistic.
I'm glad that we had at least one cheeky boomerang shot in
Right.
a crocodile movie by Australia.
I'm also happy that it was thrown by a black man, not the Australian man.
Right.
I'm very happy that the Australian didn't throw it.
I'm
No,
glad that it
instead,
was-
I think that's
That
called
would
representation.
have been going too far.
I think
course.
that with this, I think this is called representation. This is the kind of representation that I like.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm being honest here. I like that.
Reginald Val Johnson. Was
Yeah,
your
right. The
man.
Reginald Val Johnson it can be just as representative as Dundee and can do a damn good job of it. I think this is
Alright.
done. It didn't feel forced. I liked this.
This was an inclusive movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Unless you're a female, because he roasted a woman
Oh,
for a
no.
good
I mean,
10 minutes
hey,
of this movie.
This
You're
man
right.
does not like girls.
But I mean, if
He
nothing
likes
else,
girls.
He
They're
roasted,
just not allowed in his bush.
at least, I mean, at least he roasted the one woman that's like a cheating two-timing hoe. So it's
Right.
like, oh,
if
yeah.
ever
All
there
the-
was deserving
Yeah.
of a roast, it was her.
exactly. All the nice hooker ladies he was nice to,
I like that.
treated nice.
He
Came
also
off more
represented
as,
the
like,
sex
genuine
workers.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that he represented the sex workers, and we had
Right.
Reginald Val Johnson. I'll be
Yeah.
honest, that was good representation. This movie, that was great representation. in this
There was
movie.
his buddy in the bush, the
Yeah.
guy who got lost in the woods or
Yeah,
whatever.
right. And then there was
man.
also I love that guy.
Aboriginal man.
He's wearing jeans and a nice like golden watch, and he's like, yeah, I can see my way through, and he just like and he gets
My
lost. Like,
God.
he like hates it. He's like, my dad would be mad if I didn't make it though.
Oh, of course, to our little peace pipe
Yeah,
fire camp.
I like
things.
that there was the pimp that he hung out with, that he taught him how to do a cool secret handshake. Man,
Oh my God.
He's
I-
cool.
honestly though, I can say, maybe this is just me, having traveled to other countries and been
Oh,
the
yeah.
biggest fish out of the biggest water. I
Right.
can say that at every turn, you kind of feel like old Mick in there.
Oh yeah.
Everyone
yeah.
thinks you're cool just for existing. You can tell a story that's nothing to you about how, oh yeah, some guy, we found 4 of the fishermen and their boat inside the shark. And everyone's like, wow.
Yeah. I
Like-
can definitely say, even as being like, I was not in like a foreign country, or I was in Canada,
Yeah, you
which
were
again,
up with our neighbors.
but not only that, I was like, from being here in Louisiana, going to Canada is definitely
Yeah.
a long stretch.
I was gonna say,
even
yeah.
even though I don't think I have a very strong Louisiana or Southern accent,
for
I
sure.
definitely talked different than the Canadians I live with. So even me just being like,
And
"Hey
they were
guys, how's it
calling
going?"
hosers and
They
stuff.
were like, "Where are you from?"
Where are you
Like,
from?
what the
Hey, bud.
fuck are you?
yeah, I'm like Louisiana, and they're like, "You're far from home." I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Even
What
when I
the
was
hell are
in,
you doing here?
Yeah,
even when I was in
going
Oregon,
for a rip.
when I was in
Gonna
out
go
for a
out
rip,
for a
part of
rip.
bud.
Yeah.
But like
It's going for a drive.
whenever I think that's a whip. So,
Whip.
Nah,
Um,
going
Oh,
for
no,
a
man,
rip.
rips sound pretty funny.
Go
but-
sit in a snowbank, eh?
but even when I was in Oregon, they were like, "Wait, you've actually seen an alligator?" I was like, "I'm from Louisiana."
I mean,
What the
I've
fuck do you think an
eaten-
alligator is? A dinosaur?
Well, yeah, no, but they were
To
just
be
like,
fair,
"Wait,
it might as well be, but
no,
still.
think it
no,
is.
actually, an alligator is a dinosaur."
Yeah.
yeah,
but no,
surprising.
I was like, "Yeah," and I literally told them, I said, "What? Seen it? What do you mean? I've eaten it." And they were like, "What does it taste like?" I was like,
what?
"What does it taste like?" I was like, "I don't know. It's kind of steaky, kind of chewy. I don't know. It's good, I guess."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh wow." I was like, I've pet an alligator." And they were like, "Now, why would you go and do that? That's dangerous." I was like, "Cause I'm from Louisiana, baby."
Mhm. I can do that
I
shit.
was like, I named him Donnie.
Yes.
Like,
Johnny.
I would love to just like really lay into something like, oh, you've seen an alligator? Seen it? All right, I wrote it.
Yeah,
I am an alligator.
I tried. My brother's an alligator.
I swam with an alligator.
I
My
really,
daddy was an alligator.
I tried to pull that one. I was like, yeah, I rode an alligator, and all of them looked at me like, you're
Nah,
no, they were like, nah, you're messing with me. And I was like, I would have taken this joke farther, but to maintain the believability of everything else I've said to this point, I'm going to tell you that I have not ridden an alligator. But when I go back home, I'm going to ride an alligator so that I can say this truthfully later with picture evidence.
In like Florida, they have those like freaking 8 or 9 foot ones. You can like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they just tape their mouth shut.
well, I'm saying, you hop
big
on the
ones.
back of it. That dude can freaking probably swim with you on his back.
Yeah, well, like
That's riding, right?
It's a mount.
it's a water mount.
We're talking a lot about gators for this being a crocodile movie, but they're very similar, so it's fine.
Yeah,
need to
There's
unlock
one professional who's like, they're not similar. Completely different. So they're from different genuses.
They're close enough.
Yeah, right. They have mouths and teeth.
They got the same waddle.
What is it called?
They both death roll. It's fine.
We're finding our like our point of reference. That's all it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's our closest point of reference? It's the gator. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
You know,
Yeah, you know.
crocodiles
But yeah, the thing with
don't show up here.
but the
Yeah.
thing. No, they're not. They're
Crocodiles are the ones that's
originally.
like wider, right?
Yeah,
The fatter boys.
the
I thought
units.
crocodiles had the narrow mouth and alligators had the wide mouth. I thought.
I
No,
can't
see, because
remember.
there's different ones. They got like fucking caiman,
Yeah.
Oh right, the
Yeah.
little.
needle-nosed motherfuckers.
Yeah, I don't really,
Yeah.
I don't really know, but
Yeah.
I know that there's because the thing with I'm sure you've all seen the meme where it's just like a tiny like crab holding a crocodile's mouth or an alligator's mouth
Yeah.
closed because they don't have much opening force, but they have lots of closing force.
Oh, yeah.
That's why people can just use the two hands and hold their mouth closed with just grip strength.
Like,
Yes.
Right.
stop.
So what they do in those Florida places, right? They just give them like right, hush, or no, it's shut. That was
Shut.
but they just they literally they just use electrical tape and just give them like 2 little layers and then
Oh,
they
yeah,
just
that's it.
just
That's
let you
all it
ride
takes.
them.
You just ride them.
Yeah, no, legit, I'm not joking. You can just ride them
I'm
around.
gonna summon my water mount. Let's go.
Right, yeah.
Splish splash. Splish splash.
Man, I
It's just him trying to hiss through the tape.
I would just want to pet one, like a big
Yeah.
one.
I have. They're scaly.
Mm-hmm.
They feel the closest thing you'll ever feel to a dinosaur.
I was expecting fur.
Little bummy boy.
Then you expected wrong. You should go pet an otter.
I'm
if you
sorry.
Want, if
You'd
you
be
want
disappointed.
if you want a water creature with fur, you should go pet an otter or something.
Beaver.
Go find yourself a what is it called, platypus or something. Dude, platypi are so weird. Let's not get on this subject.
Oh,
Let's-
man.
Jeez, man. What a vicious species.
but yeah, they're like poisonous. They lay eggs, but they're mammals. Like they're just so. Whenever God made those, he was like, "I'm gonna confuse everybody."
Hey, hear me out. You guys ever been in character creation, hit the random button?
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, 100%. God was like, the
Random,
No,
select.
no, man. God was up there like, wait, so like, all right, we made all of these rules, right? And his angel's like, yeah, like mammals and all
Right,
that. Yeah,
right,
we
right,
made all these rules, right? Yeah.
Man, amphibians,
Now,
yeah.
I'm gonna pick one animal. I want him to break all the rules. Angel was like, you sure about that? And he was like, bro, I'm God. And Angel was like, say no more, fam. And
my
he made
God.
the platypus. The venomous platypus that lays eggs.
So like, hear me out. You know how I have all these different species, each having their own
They're unique.
different detail and very unique ability about all of them.
There are
I
lines.
got
They
you.
look about
I want
at
to make
least a little similar.
I want to make one species that has all the traits of all the species.
Amazing.
Okay.
A tail, flippers, a bill, fur, poisonous,
It's amazing they haven't taken over already.
eggs,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
can breathe air.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Hear me out. So we put lines, right? Yeah. Lines between each species. Yeah. Okay.
Cross
I want one creature that blurs all of them.
Intersects.
He blurs all the lines.
You ever
All
seen
right.
a beaver and a duck and wonder what happens if you smash the two together?
We call it a buck.
Yeah, me too.
We call it a deaver.
A deaver.
Oh,
But it's like,
man.
yeah, like they're so weird. But
yeah.
God.
yeah, back to the
What an
movie.
As a whole, I can accept that this isn't like A+ material as a movie. I mean, I knew that, but I still enjoy it.
I enjoy the movie. No, it's a good movie overall.
It's a fun
It's just
time.
that there's so much of it that's not
nothing
liked.
worthy of like critical acclaim.
No, and that's like I said, I was over exaggerating when I said I hated it. I didn't actually hate it. I had a fun time watching it. I thought it was an enjoyable film.
Yeah.
But as far as like the structure of a film,
As far as
I was
watching
like,
a movie,
man, please.
as far as watching a movie and not having that much fun, I honestly think that, as much as it's sad to say, and I'll probably get hate for this, that the one that's on the top of my list of not having that much fun while watching it was probably Alien.
We knew that.
Yeah, no, I know, I'm just saying, but it's just like Alien was probably, and this one, what I'm trying to say is that this one does not make that list like Alien does, where I'm just sitting there like, it's really great that you guys are all saying the correct thing to do and then not doing it and dying. I feel like no one should be surprised that this is happening. Why don't you just stick together? But first I'm going to go run alone into this corridor, and he dies. How did he die? Well, I don't know, Jimmy. Why don't you pay more attention next time? Like,
I bet the alien could tell you. Why don't you look for him?
Split the party.
Yeah, how about you? It's
Never
D&D
split the
rule.
party.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just a giant nerd, and that's why I'm over here like, you never split the party.
Never split the party. Oh, jeez, man.
Movies aren't your fucking... They don't work like your fucking game master board.
That man didn't roll a 20, so he's dead.
Well, I was gonna say, I was like, you say
God.
that, Dylan, but all of them died except for Ripley. I was like,
That's because Ripley rolled a D20 and got like 50,000 successes.
She rolled a nat 20 on every perception check, and then
she had stacked dice.
rolled a crit on everything. And
She
just,
kind of fumbled with that whole self-destruct sequence thing.
Yeah.
though.
she rolled like a 14 there.
But we all agreed that she did have the protagonist dice, though.
Oh, of course.
She did, and that's why, like Ripley having the protagonist dice in Alien, it feels heavy-handed because every other character dies, and it's just like, how is she still alive? How, right?
Because she got the grit.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't deny that she's got the grit, but also it's like, I feel like it's still kind of heavy-handed. But like with this one, everything going well for old Dundee, even though he's just as much of a Mary Sue in this movie, just as much of a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel as bad. At least, like there's something about the way that they set everything up. You just know he's a Chad. You just know it.
Right.
So it just works out. And I think that was why it was a fun movie to watch, at least.
But one thing we can all agree on is that the editor guy,
Is,
the girl's boyfriend initially that she cheats on.
Scumbag Supreme? Yeah.
Scumbag Supreme.
Yeah.
We call him
Dick.
Jimmy Cuck, whatever his name was.
Yeah, I was like Jimmy Cuck Jones or something. I called him a cuck like twice. I don't know. I called him a cuck like twice.
Anyways, we can all agree that he's a trash human being.
Yeah.
He was just that guy, the one who just makes you squirm, where you're like, God, I hate you.
Well, he's a man in the 80s in New York who's an editor for a newspaper. It's like, that's like you've stacked all the shitty qualities up on each other.
And he was just that guy who was like,
or at least in a movie. At least in a film. I'm not sure if anybody like that in real
if your
life.
dad was an 80s newspaper guy,
and he was a decent guy, he was a swell boy.
He's not an asshole. But this guy, this one, he was an asshole.
Oh, he was awful.
But okay, so like the thing is, he had that thing where like it's every quality down to like the little things. He goes to the restaurant and he's in an Italian restaurant and he orders in Italian. And it's like that, that doesn't seem like that's a bad thing. If you know the language, you can order in the language.
Yeah.
But for him, somehow it just ups his douchebag points by like 10. You're just like, oh, of course he's ordering in Italian and not just doing it
it's because of his condescending like, shall I order for the table?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you have to have but like out of context, just saying him ordering in Italian restaurant doesn't seem annoying.
Knuckle sandwich.
Right. It doesn't seem annoying. Turd. But like in context, he's just so annoying.
Yeah.
I really like though that he was like, I'll have this drink. What'll you have? And freaking Dundee's like, yeah, I'll have 2 of that one and a beer too.
Oh yeah, he's like, the guy says it's him and his lady, and he's like, I want 2 vodka martinis, and then he's like, oh, and what'll you be having, Mick? And he's like, oh, I'll have 2 of those as well and a beer.
Yeah, I like how also you at no point do you ever see Dundee even remotely inebriated in this movie.
Never.
No matter how much he's drinking, no matter how much he's downing, you see him actually just slam 3 martinis over the course of 3 different scenes, where he just keeps grabbing them, looking at the olive like, what's this for? And then drinking it.
Taking it out.
He sips it, and he knows it's alcohol because he knows, but he keeps saying like, why is there an olive in this thing?
Yeah. I love the cab driver that's an Italian. He's like, you want to go grab some drinks? And of course the Italian's like, are you kidding me? I'll drink you underneath the table. And he's like, I'm just gotten off my shift. And of course at the end of that round, again, Mick is stone sober is what it feels like, and this Italian guy is freaking stumbling around going, I lost the cab.
Well, just in the very next scene. So then in that scene, it pans up, and the taxi says, out of service, off clock. What does it say? It's
Off duty.
Yeah, off duty.
Off duty. That was it. This is off duty, so they drive to the bar. The very next scene is him exiting the bathroom, visibly drunk.
Yeah.
We're talking off his ass.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
the
then
cab driver, for instance.
Yeah, cab driver. And then it pans over to Dundee, who's just telling those jokes I was mentioning when he was like,
Yes.
the real thing you got to worry about is the sharks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Found 4 fishermen in one of them, and a boat, too. Like, sober as always.
Right.
Which I can say definitely checks out for most Irishmen,
Australian people.
Australian people, and Irish people.
You know what? I heard that, like, Australians just start drinking from a young age, and
Yes.
they're allowed to. Like, they have, like,
Yes.
on Fridays,
Oh, wow.
most businesses just have, like, drinking day. They
15,
drink at
16-year-olds,
work.
you're fine, yeah.
Yeah, I heard somewhere. Gosh, I don't remember where, but it was like, yeah, on a Friday, they would just, like, give us a beer at work for Fridays. Like,
Yep.
it was like a half day at work. We'd get
That's
a beer, casual
amazing.
Friday.
You just go out into a
Are
pub.
you joking? I need
No.
to go to Australia immediately.
I'm telling you.
You know, I thought that I could go to Australia as a medic, but apparently I was wrong. Apparently
really?
Australia is very saturated with paramedics right now, so I probably wouldn't get a job.
I see.
Apparently medics from Australia are coming to the States to get more experience so that they're valued in
Right,
Australia.
right.
So I'd actually probably be out of a job if I went there, but I still want to
Damn.
travel. So
I will say that I'm trying to flex this Irish heritage of mine. I know that everyone says that in Louisiana, but I believe
but our
that-
last name does give it away.
I believe it gives it away to a certain extent. And
I
not
don't
only
think
that,
it's
it's
just
also
that it gives it away. Also, like we did research from like mom's family heritage.
Yes.
We found like some some funeral that was designated for our family. We know our family crest.
right.
You know,
But anyways, regardless
Not
of all that,
funeral,
I'm
but
trying to
freaking
flex the fact that
cemetery.
like I got a freaking an Irishman's
Liver.
what is yeah
yeah, I gotta work out my liver a
tolerance
bit
was
more.
what I was looking for, but liver also works too, I guess.
Right.
I want to go to Ireland. You know, the thing that I heard a while back from someone who traveled a lot. He was actually, who was it? It was someone that was. He was a student that I had. There was a student I had on the ambulance who was in the military, and he talked about the places he traveled to. Now, usually with the 3 or 4 places I've traveled to, I'm usually well above people my age. But this man was like, yeah, you know, the only place that I'll admit, for all the places I've traveled, America's still pretty great. And he starts going down the list. And the list is extensive.
Really?
He was like, I guess Egypt was pretty nice.
Oh, what?
And I
Wow.
was like, what? And he was like, yeah, Germany was pretty cool, but the people in Germany are all just so mean.
Jeez.
And I was like, really? People in He was like, everybody in Germany was just so mean to us. Yeah. He's like going to the list of places he's been to, and he eventually he hits Ireland. He was like, you know, Ireland was nice, but the weather was just garbage the whole time. And I was like, what you're telling me is that the weather is ideal for me.
Right.
I live in Louisiana. It's been raining. It's been flooding this
Oh, yeah.
entire week. I live in Louisiana.
Right.
I can go to Ireland. It can rain the entire time. You know what I'll do? I'll have a pint of the black stuff with the boys.
Hell
like,
yes.
like I don't even care, man. So this furthered the fact that I want to do a vacation to Ireland really bad.
I have to go to Scotland.
Yeah.
You do. We need to take you
I
there.
need to go to Scotland.
One of these days we'll have a vacation when the Rona doesn't inhibit us anymore.
Right.
That'll be great.
Go ahead and put a date stamp on the episode. Actually, at this point, it's not really a date stamp. The Rona's been going on for long enough that we're just putting the episode in a very broad area of,
Right,
of when it could
right.
be.
Remember last year when we started the podcast and this whole
Yeah,
virus thing started?
Yeah.
What a fun time that was.
Ripperonis.
God.
I'm glad that's all behind us.
That was a weird time in my life, man.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I forgot to mention this. I just opened my notes. That's not a knife. That's a knife. But also, the other one is whenever, I didn't even get to finish this. After he throws the boomerang, after old Gus throws the boomerang
Yes.
at the guy, and then Dundee says, "Are you sure you're not in a tribe?" And then Gus decides
Oh my
to,
God,
finally he
no.
comes around and hits him with, "Oh yeah, Harlem Warlords." And then, I think, what do you remember the name that he said? He said some long name for some
Yeah,
tribe of like
I don't remember.
the Teredi tribe or whatever. And he was like, "Oh yeah, Harlem Warlords." I was like, Gus is coming around. I love this character.
So good.
If it wasn't for Donk, Gus would be my number one, but Donk has to take it.
Yeah. Well,
Oh man,
what a fun time that movie was.
Very enjoyable.
that was an
Like,
interesting one.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm
Definitely
glad.
recommend it.
One of
So-
the movies that I handed you, we need to watch next week as well. I handed you 4 movies. I don't remember what all they are. I just know they're close together. And
Napoleon Dynamite.
ooh, we could do that one. I didn't actually
Napoleon
hand you that one.
Dynamite.
I remember when that movie came out. We'll talk about this
Nap-
on that episode when
Napoleon Bonaparte,
Napoleon Bonaparte,
The French Revolution.
the French Dynamite,
Alexander the Great,
The French.
the
French.
Dynamite. The French Dynamite, is that?
Yeah. Oh, then you know that was
Yeah.
Napoleon's name, the French Dynamite.
Yeah,
Of course.
they called me the French Dynamite. That was my name in high school.
So, Ethan, you had some stuff that you wanted to talk about with us recently. You had said something about.
I guess I was supposed to just mention it because I
announcement.
wasn't really sure, but I am moving. I currently live here with these guys, so
Yes.
it's easy to film, and I'm moving. So I don't know if I'll remain in as many episodes as I'm in. I mean, the catch is with my work schedule, I'm already not in as many as I'm more of a long-term guest. Actually, the thing is, it's only a long-term. I'm in a weird thing where I'm not here
I
all
think
the time, so I'm not a
percentage-wise-
host. But I'm also like not a host as often. I'm the interchangeable host, you know.
Yeah.
Your
because-
percentile of times you are here to times you are not here is still very, very high.
Yeah, because we have a lot of episodes. I know,
Of course.
and so it's like I am still like like a host, not just a long term guest, and I hope that doesn't change. But
Right.
with me not living here, who knows? It could change. It shouldn't because I'm not moving that far, but I am moving out of the house. So just a fair warning that I might be in a few less here and there.
Just in case we have a rotating amount of guests possibly to come on from various friends of ours, just know that then none can replace Ethan, and he will always be that
I'll always
legendary third guest.
They're gonna say be that bitch.
Yeah.
I'll be 100% that bitch.
No.
That motherfucker we grabbed out of the corner. Like, hey, you look okay.
Right.
Get in.
Hey, can you make jokes? I guess that was good. Get over here. But yeah, just live on. Who's your favorite character? You know? Oh, describe the movie in 3 words. I haven't done that one in a while. Hey, Dylan, describe the movie in 3 words.
Wow, it's been a while.
That's a knife.
Dang, that's a good one. All right, Ian, describe it in 3 words.
Come back to me. I'm still thinking.
Oh, okay.
Let me think.
You see, I kind of was lost too. Oh, I haven't. I got one. I have one. Are you ready?
Mhm.
Ready?
All right. Oh wait, that's 4 words. Dang it. I have to change it now. I
How
was
about
gonna.
three words or 3 small phrases?
Well, mine would be 3 words still, but I was gonna say don't drink that water because whenever old girl tried to drink the water,
Oh my God.
yeah, drinkable still water.
Drinkable still water.
Because you're supposed to drink running water. You
Oh
don't.
my
You don't go
God.
to a puddle when you get. She got attacked by a freaking crocodile because she went to the puddle that is dark green
Yes.
with lily pads, and it has a crocodile in it, and most importantly is still. And she's gonna fill her bottle up with that. That's why she wouldn't have made it 5 minutes. That's why Dundee was saying she wouldn't have made it in 5 minutes.
Of course.
They tell you to drink the running water, okay,
Right.
and they tell you to make sure that it's kind of clear.
Yeah.
And even that doesn't mean it's safe, but that's just your better option.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's safe. You're supposed to, if you want it to be safe, you have to boil it as well. But like,
Boil for safety.
yeah, right, boil for safety. But like, if you want it to be safe, you have to boil it as well and all that. But like, otherwise, the running clear water is your best bet. And she goes to that murky, just swamp, and is like, I'm gonna fill my bottle up here.
There may as well have been a sign that
But
said,
at least-
"Here be dragons."
At least
Here
we get
be
it
dragons.
right. No, here be Crocs. Yeah,
Can
But, like-
can that be my 3 words?
here be Crocs.
Here be dragons.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
But like, at least on that scene, we get the swimsuit scene where she's like, Vogue,
Not
and
even.
posing.
Like, what the fuck was her motivation behind wearing that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
You know, maybe she thought
It's
she was
the
going to go
80s.
swimming one day. Yeah, it's the
I mean, I
80s.
guess
Not
so.
one female
Damn.
character in this entire movie was wearing a bra.
That was a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, it was a nice.
Whatever.
It was a nice swimsuit scene. She
Yeah, it was a
did.
different time.
Well, thank you all for listening. This has been a fun episode, as always. Like I said, if things start to change in the next few months from Ethan's perspective, just know everything is still okay between us. He's just moving houses.
That's a knife.
That's a knife. But until next time, if you guys are looking to find us, we have a Spotify. We have like you can find us on, you can find us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the other podcast platforms. The Aftermath, look it up underneath the podcast section. You can find us, or type in aftermath.buzzsprout.com. And you can find us there.
Yeah.
Linktree /Ian Wolf. We have all kinds of links, all kinds of places to find us, all sorts of places for you to listen to us. But until next time,
Take a trip to the land.
And our
down
favorite
under.
rocket ship.
bye-bye.